Hey everybody, welcome back to OpenLine. Jason Lamb here with you this evening. And again, we have a very interesting, very informative topic tonight, the cannabis boom in Tennessee. We've already been taking some of your calls, and Lucas has been very patient with us here across the commercial break. And Lucas, you are on here with Kelley Hess and the Tennessee Growers Association. Lucas, go ahead with your question or comment.
Hey guys, thank you for letting me on here. So we all know how the Midwest is with the legalization of recreational marijuana. My question is, what do you think it would take for Tennessee to at least pass some sort of decent medical marijuana bill to where they have smokables for people who need it? And what do you think that Tennessee citizens can do now to actually try to put forth some sort of effort to reach out to legislators to tell them that the majority of us do indeed want at least medical marijuana legalized?
Yeah. All right, Lucas, thank you very much for that question. And yes, to his point, this is something that actually has been introduced in the state legislature before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with contact your legislators. Every person in the state of Tennessee has a House member and a Senate member, and it's just important to call them and let them know how you feel and that you support that. It's important to educate them, and it's important to start talking to them now when they're not in session, when they're not, super busy with 15-minute meetings. It's really important to maybe just reach out to their legislative office or Facebook Messenger, whatever their whatever is, a lot of people are active on there, and just, ask them for a cup of coffee, schedule a meeting at their office or in the district, and start getting to know them and talk to them now and start giving them, reasons why you support it, and how it affects you, how it affects your health, how it affects your grandmother's health, how it affects your business and industry and all of the above. So I think the key is to contact your legislators and not just contact them once or twice, but build those relationships with them so they know that who you are, that you're a voter, you're a constituent, and that this is a very important issue to you, and you hope that they can support it.
Two great calls right off the bat, and we want to keep those calls coming in. We want to hear your questions here for Kelley Hess with the Tennessee Growers Coalition. The number is 615-737-PLUS. That's 615-737-7587. Now, that last caller, and you kind of mentioned this, the education aspect. Again, so much of what you do. How much does it change that game when you're dealing with a bunch of new legislators, people who have not been elected to the House or Senate before, and you kind of have to start that education process maybe a little bit closer to from scratch?
Yes, and we're definitely seeing that big change. We had a bunch of new people elected. We had a big turnover rate in the General Assembly, and there's about 20 or so new members, and that is one thing that the Tennessee Growers Coalition is in the process of doing, is meeting with these new guys and women before session starts in the districts. Obviously, we're a political action committee, so we raise money to help support them. So going to their fundraisers and just introducing ourselves and start slowly introducing them to the to the policy issues. Like, a lot of people already know about Delta 8 and hemp and stuff, or they've heard about it. But when it comes down to the policy, we got to start we're starting to educate now, because once January starts, it's a whirlwind. It's fast paced, and we don't really have time to sit down and educate. So now, particularly now before the November elections, is very key timing to start educating and building those relationships with those new guys. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that has really, I'm just sort of fascinated by, is just the different laws in different states, and it doesn't have to be just about marijuana. There's differences in alcohol, liquor laws, and things like that, where it can be bought and sold. Obviously, the end extreme here in Tennessee would be fully legalization of recreational marijuana. Other states already have done that. What is it here in Tennessee? Why do you think that idea just hasn't taken hold here like it has in other states?
Yeah, I mean, that's. I think a lot of that has to do with the miseducation, the war on drugs that we've seen, just the misclassification, and just total miseducation about this plant, the potentials of this plant, and what this plant can actually do. We hear a lot of the dangers and things like that, but cannabis, from my research, cannabinoids have never killed anybody. Nobody's ever died because of too many cannabinoids. There might have been some other things mixed into that, but it's never been solely because of cannabinoids. And so I think when we see that, and then we paint the picture for these legislators, that, and then our current opioid epidemic, and trying to paint that picture, it's not what you think it is. It's a plant that it definitely can get you high, but used in the right way, the right setting, can be very beneficial, not only to humans but to our planet.
Right, and talking about some of those other parts of the plant, you had mentioned earlier the hemp fiber and grain industry, and just how that is really increasing across the country and here in Tennessee. And talk a little bit also about the Southern Hemp Expo that was held back here in Nashville.
Yes.
In August. Mm-hmm. That's been going on recurring for several years now. Talk a little bit about those avenues of this plant.
Sure. So in 2018, when the Farm Bill passed, a lot of people were really excited about the possibilities of fiber and grain from the hemp. It's very sustainable. It's quicker to grow. Hemp fiber for all your needs. Better than trees and all the other things that it's just way better. And so the grain and fiber industry hasn't really taken off because there's so much capital investment that needs to be put in place to take a plant to a fiber that you would make a t-shirt or upholstery for a car, like kind of what we've seen in Germany. So it takes a lot of capital investment to get to that point. So actually our Department of Ag and our trade association, the Hemp Alliance of Tennessee, have partnered up and have gotten some dollar-to-dollar matches on some grants that I believe will help build that infrastructure, so we can see more of that take off in Tennessee, because that would be a really good market for Tennessee. We have the space for it, we have the farmers for it, and I think farmers need another crop to put in their rotation. So I think that would be really great. The Southern Hemp Expo, I think the first one was in 2018. I think they took a break because of COVID, but it's a sister, I believe, the sister organization of a conference in Colorado, NOCO, and they really focus on hemp. And this year was a big focus on fiber and grain, and trying to support that and put a lot of energy and effort into getting those markets built, so we can have some sustainability in that.
Has that expo grown in popularity over the last few years? What are you seeing there, and what do you think that kind of indicates or signals for that industry going forward? Yeah,
it's definitely grown. It's gotten a lot bigger. Better vendors every year, better speakers, better talks. I think it's really beneficial for people in the industry to have that. And then they also have a general public day where you can come and check out all the vendors and get samples and stuff. So I think it says something that they come to Nashville. I think that they want to be here. They see the potential in Tennessee, and they want to invest in Tennessee. And so I think it says a lot about the potential. If we get the laws right, we get the regulations right, we can really, this would be a really big industry that could help a lot of people.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, our guest here is Kelley Hess with the Tennessee Growers Coalition. Again, we want to hear from you. This is Open Line, and our lines are open. The number is 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We hope to take more of your calls on the other side of this break.